Hello, I'm Dr. Brandt Gibson, and one of the questions that I'm commonly asked is, do I need to wear shoes at home? Now, let me give a little side note to this. Most of the time, my children and my wife don't like to have shoes on when they're at home. They have a tendency to not wear shoes and to walk around barefoot, and is this a problem? There's debates there. Would I say that they should always be in shoes? In most cases, the answer is no, they don't have to always be in shoes. They need to be in supportive shoes even. The answer is still no. You can wear flip-flops sometimes. You can wear sandals that don't support the foot sometimes. But the idea is if you're going for significant walks or significant activities, or if you're in areas where you need to worry about injury to the feet, shoes are a good idea for protection and for support. But when you're at home, what are the things you should be considering? There are really four things that I want to talk about when you're at home about shoes. Number one, a supportive shoe, especially if you have an injury or foot pain, say plantar fasciitis or tendonitis or something like that, wearing a shoe with support in it is beneficial. Especially, say, if you've been put in an orthotic to adjust for a problem, to help for a problem, I recommend that at least for a 4 to 6 week period that you're wearing the orthotics constantly, which means you do wear the orthotics also in a shoe at home. Does that mean you can never be barefoot? That answer is no, but you need to give it that period of time to allow recovery, allow the orthotics to do what they're supposed to do. So number one, you don't have to wear shoes always at home, and you can adjust and wear different types of shoes, but you should be smart about it. If you're doing an activity where the shoe protection or the shoe support will be beneficial, wear the appropriate shoe for the activity. Number two, surfaces that you're walking on do matter. So if you're saying, okay, I only have carpets, I have thick pads underneath them in my house, walking barefoot is more beneficial. You may create other issues at home if you're constantly walking on tile or linoleum or asphalt. So the idea is if you're on those kind of surfaces always, the foot doesn't have a sufficient padding in most cases to prevent pain, and you'll actually get more sore. Your feet will start to get sore, and you'll wonder why. It's because you're walking on hard surfaces. And so you want to wear appropriate house shoes if necessary, depending on the surfaces that you're walking on. Number three, when it comes to children, I talk about this all the time, but when it comes to children, and especially toddlers that are learning to walk, barefoot is a really good idea because it allows the feet to learn to function like they're supposed to. You get the intrinsic muscles to develop like they're supposed to, you get the changes and so forth in the feet, and that is actually beneficial, and so I do recommend that in children. And four, does it have to always be a really good supportive shoe? Say I've got tile or hard surfaces in my house and I want something, does it need to be the same shoe I'd wear outside? The answer is no. A lot of times people will have a house shoe, which is a different shoe. So even if they're doing orthotics, they pull the orthotics out of their outside shoes, put them on their inside shoes. They have a shoe that's clean, so it's not making the carpets dirty, not doing any of that kind of stuff that they're worried about. Or they may have a different type of slipper or something that supports their foot some, but the biggest thing is they're padding to prevent the injury from the surfaces. So the idea, if you take those four issues, those four things, and you think about them, truthfully, you don't necessarily have to always wear shoes at home, but you need to be smart about it. You need to think about it, and you need to protect your feet in the appropriate way, depending on what's going on with your feet. If you start to have problems, pain, discomfort, or other things, it's worth being evaluated and say, is there something I need to do? If there is, there's things that we can do in the long run to get you back to being the way you want to, even if that's barefoot at home. This is Dr. Brandt Gibson, and this is your Podiatry